So my daughter's school got canceled today because somebody stole the copper out of the transformer near the school, and
Oh,
their power went out, and it blew their air conditioning system or whatever.
what?
Yeah. So
Oh, that stinks, man.
if you could give it back, Chris, that would be.
I will. It's just this house payment. I'm trying to figure out other ways to copper.
Copper's
Uh,
the easiest thing to cover
Oh,
the
that's
difference.
that's a bummer. I'm sorry that
um,
happened.
I texted you guys this morning the story. I don't know, I woke up thinking about it. Uh, yeah, Garrett, you were with us. So, Garrett, do you remember? So the three of us years ago went to New York
Mm-hmm.
to see Mike Birbiglia.
Yeah.
To that show. Yeah, to see the new one. And our big joke is that Gary and I are always like, what coffee shop can we visit? And we would base like what
Is that your
borough we're
guys'
going.
big joke, or is that what I say? Because it's not a joke to you guys. That
It's
is
not
what
just
you
us, we love
actually
it.
do.
No, it's
Yeah.
real fun. Hey,
Yeah.
if we go over to this side of the city, then we can go to this coffee
Yeah.
shop. And you're like, yay!
Yeah, it's only like a 45-minute subway ride over there. We can try some other coffee. This
We
is
went
from
to
like
so many coffee shops. So many
gosh.
coffee shops.
this is from like Ethiopia. Sweet.
We're not like that. Hey, that's a character you could do. Coffee snob?
Coffee snob. I don't know anything about coffee though, but
No, we can teach you.
Beauty of it. Nobody does. We all pretend.
We do.
yeah, that's the whole thing. No one knows. It's all a sham.
We were there for 3 or 4 days. Chris had one request. One simple,
Just
very, very common request. And what was that request, Chris?
I was like, it would be cool if we could go to to Central Park. I just called it
Right.
the Central Park. If we could go to Central
but-
Park, it'd be awesome.
Yes.
Don't have to stay long. Just if we could go there, it'd be awesome.
Yep. Just wanted to go to Central Park, a big part of New York.
And I think we talked about like the first day. We're like, oh, we could. Well, we'll just do it. We'll do it We'll do it tomorrow
Mhm,
because whatever the reasoning. Like, okay, yeah, whatever. That's fine. I would love to go over there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. No, absolutely, we'll do it. Of course.
Yeah. And then we got to that day, and how did that go?
I don't remember the specifics, but I remember it was finally, it got pushed back again to like the day we're leaving. And we're like, well, our flight doesn't go out till, I don't know, 1 or 2. So we'll, on our way out of town, we'll go over to Central Park.
Well, what really messed it up is we were like, no, we'll go in the morning. Well, then our friends, Andrew and Sally, ended up being in town in New York. And we're like, okay, hey, they want to have breakfast. That'll be fun. So why don't we go have breakfast with them?
Yeah.
And then no, Chris, then we'll hit up Central Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had the breakfast. You know what sounds good? A cup of coffee. And it's actually just right over here. It just will hop on. It's right next to Central Park.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go hit the coffee.
Yeah.
And then, but what we didn't think through, or at least what I didn't think through, as I was like, oh, that's fine, yeah, whatever, was that when you're leaving New York City, you have all of your luggage with you.
Mm-hmm.
So what
Your
happened
rolling
is we were like, I don't even know, let's see the direction, but we were on like the would be the Upper East Side, I think, I forget, but it was like, there was like a running trail that just kind of came in on one little side of Central Park.
Yeah.
That was gravel.
It was gravel.
And we were pulling our suitcases. And we're like, oh, here's Central Park. And so we like walked in this little tiny part. And
it was kind of on the outside of Central
yeah, it was like, it wasn't, when you think of Central Park, this is not what you think of. This
You
was
think of like the Friends Fountain or like where you've
that
got mail.
bridge.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
there's all the cool stuff. We were over by the softball fields, I think.
So technically we did honor your request.
Yeah, highlight of the trip.
Stroll through Central.
No, it was. Oh my gosh! Yes.
Oh my gosh, Garrett, you have You have a video of it.
Gosh, I didn't know that. Oh my gosh. That's even better than it was though, because that was paved. When we got to the top of that hill, it was all just like this like loose gravel and it was kind of muddy, I feel like. It was just like,
Yeah, it
what are we
wasn't-
doing out of their suitcases? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, here's
Yeah. Also,
that.
I mean, it was freezing. You just kind of want to walk around with your hands in your pockets, just kind of enjoying the sights. You don't want to just
Oh
be
my
like,
gosh. Yeah, still
this
that's
gravel
Yeah.
road.
that's the
That's
gravel.
even-
Oh my
is
gosh.
it- okay, yeah. Oh my gosh. Yep.
Got just a couple more
Our big trip to New York
same
City.
photos there, but
Yeah. So thank you guys for putting my, well, we didn't even talk about, we went to like 4 or 5 coffee shops, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, over the course of like the 3-day trip.
well, I
So
think the
maybe
breakfast
that-
was
that-
next to Central Park.
Yeah.
It
So
was next to-
not
yeah.
complaining, Chris. Okay, we could
Yeah.
connect.
And it was cold and wet, so
Mhm.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So
It was,
just
yeah.
so you know, if you're wondering how our friendship is, at times Gary and I are a little selfish, and Chris is a little more passive about his desire.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn how to stand up for myself a little bit more, and my desires matter.
Well, I mean, we'll see. Yeah. Hey, we got a fun episode today. I think it's fun. I think in the last episode, we gave a little State of the Union for Chris. Today, we're going to talk about some stuff going on, what the summer's been like in my comedy career and television writing. And also I want to make sure that, Gary, we talk about where you're headed. We didn't do that in the last episode.
Oh, yeah.
When we say this, Risky for the Biscuit is brought to you by a couple of our sponsors. Number one, Northern Creative. That's Gary's video production company, editing, video production, art, animation. You can check out his portfolio at northern.work. He does everything for the pod. And Best in the Biz.
Best in the biz.
In the biz. And then also Looney Bin Comedy Club in Tulsa, Oklahoma is a sponsor of the podcast, My Home Club. You can check out their lineup, who's coming in hot at looneybincomedy.com, including our very own Christopher Munch, who will be headlining on September 24th. You can get your tickets at looneybincomedy.com. Make sure you come because he's going to be doing Steven Stevens, Ricky Road.
I don't know whether my character.
Oh, maybe not. He'll be doing his character.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, but a lot of my characters. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
I'm
Steven.
doing- Yep.
Yeah,
And maybe a new character.
Who knows?
maybe
Yeah,
a new character.
Maybe a new character before
Yeah.
now will blow up.
I'll be opening that show, and Gary, I'm sure, will be there too, as long as he's not too busy with his flourishing production company.
Mhm.
And so here we go.
Man, so good to be here today. Just excited to be with you guys.
Thanks for joining us at the Drive at 5. Just
Feeling
Chris Munch,
good.
Adam Bush, Gary Hornstein here.
Yeah.
You know,
Thank you for that
sometimes, Chris, when you go to clubs and perform, if you're headlining, they'll have you do like the Good Day morning show,
Oh yeah.
and they're in Little Rock.
Yeah.
That's it. That'll be exciting.
Should I try to get on some Tulsa news agency? Should
yeah,
I
we
do a
should.
press
We-
release saying that I'm going to be
try to get on
performing?
Good Day. Good Day Tulsa.
Mhm.
Good Day
We can do that.
Tulsa.
I'm gonna write that down. Good Day Tulsa. Yeah, I don't think it's incredibly hard. I've been invited for shows that I was on that they were going to do it. Anyway, moving along. State of the Union. It is the middle of the summer right now. It has been quite the summer. Gary and Chris just got back from vacation. I did not go on a vacation. I had a baby. Not me, but died. 8 weeks, almost 8 weeks.
Opposite of vacation.
It is the opposite of vacation.
You
Well,
did
less-
have a baby. You did a baby moon though, didn't you?
Yes.
Like before the baby was born. You guys
Yeah, we went to
Mexico.
Tulum. No, you're right. I'm going to get. We got a vacation coming right up.
Yeah, don't get out of here with your sob story. I didn't go on a vacation. I had a baby.
2 vacations a year.
You're having a vacation right before.
Yeah.
and then you're going to go on another. You got one booked up.
I also pretty much took June off from performing, so it's been yeah.
What a doozy of a
Yeah.
summer. No,
Well, okay. Well, I mean, the sleep
no.
has
Having
been
a kid is a big deal. So I'm not.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I am very thankful to have a job where it's not just like I'm getting no sleep at night and then I got to get up at 7 a.m. to go to work. Like,
Yeah. Right.
my earliest meetings start at 10:30 in the morning. So, yeah. So anyway, but so been home most of the summer. I haven't traveled a ton. I've done a few corporate shows in Kansas recently, but I don't really know how to start this because I'm.
Well, I want to hear about kind of where the state of the union, where you're at with your business. What's kind of your next steps? What are kind of your biggest challenges right now? And I'd love to just hear kind of what the business has been like for you recently.
Yeah. So my two things are comedy, doing stand up comedy. I try to perform as much as possible, and then writing on television shows. And so on the comedy, it's going really, really, really good. Specifically because the Looney Bin, our club here in Tulsa, has really become my home club, and I've developed a great relationship with them, specifically Mason and John, the co-owners of the club,
just taking you under their wing. It's
been really wonderful because they are real estate investors, so their background is not comedy, and so we talk all the time where they're just like, what's an example would be, hey, I got an email. They'll say, I got an email from a headliner. Guy wants to headline our club. I asked him for a tape. He said he didn't have a 45-minute tape. Is that normal? And I'm like, yeah, most people don't have 45-minute tape. You probably, with that guy, probably just want to go with his credits or maybe he's got a reference. So it's nice to, and so like and we've even had moments where they're like, we need comics, like who should we book? And I'm like, oh, I think these guys would do great in Tulsa, and they booked them. I'm opening for a guy who's on the Nateland podcast. His name is Brian Bates, and they booked him because I recommended him. So yeah, so it has been really. I've been very blessed that even though this summer I am staying home, closer to home more, not traveling as much, I have been able to perform so much more than I have in the past in Tulsa because I got bumped up to feature at the club. So when I go in, a lot of times I'm doing 30 minutes. We're doing a lot of shows. This next week, I'm doing 7 shows there. I'm opening for some comics that I'm just a really big fan of. And
it's awesome.
Yeah. And then on top of that, I always say it's a little inside baseball. One of the biggest, I perform in a lot of churches and do some corporate events, but doing clubs is really hard. And it's really hard to get into clubs. It's really hard to get the booker's attention. You're just kind of in this sea of all the comics. But one of the things that's helped me stand out is I am a clean comic. And one of the clubs I've really wanted to get into is the kind of the Bark Entertainment Club. So they have Bricktown, Oklahoma City, Bricktown, Tulsa. I think they've got about 9 clubs across the country. And I had an opportunity to meet the booker. We kind of hit it off. We talked, and I featured for my first time 2 weeks ago. So in Oklahoma City. And so 20-minute spot, went great. And I'm going back to Bricktown in Tulsa in August 26th to open for Dustin Nickerson and Steven Rogers. So that's been a real gift because it's just given me an opportunity to be home with the kids, help Die, and also be able to perform a lot.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. So, and then September, we kind of pick back up. We got some corporate shows. You and I are doing one, Chris, in Kansas. Then I'm going to Nashville for a couple of shows. I think the fam's going to come with me. And then we got a big show at the Looney Bin at the end of September. So it's just starting to, I'm getting a lot of good stage time, and it's not just impeding on just our season of life of having a baby.
Do you feel like that has anything to do with the fact that you kind of made a concerted effort to, I don't know, watch? I feel like we had this conversation where you were kind of like, I feel like I'm doing too many things, and I'm maybe not being as wise with my opportunities as I could be.
Yeah, for a long time,
Like
I
we're just
was
kind of
just
taking
like,
everything that came, just and
yes,
even if it was like 6 hours to go perform
right.
for a little bit, and it was kind of like you weren't seeing maybe the return on that time as much. And I feel like you kind of made a concerted effort to go like, I think I'm going to start saying no to some things.
Yeah, I have. I've said no to a lot of things. There are, um, yeah, but for a time, I think I even told you guys, I'm like, stage time is what I want. I just, all the stage time in the world.
Yeah.
And now I'm a little, I'm being a, I'm being a little bit more choosy, mostly for my family.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
jobs that are financially beneficial for the family or good opportunities for like
Hmm.
meeting comics that are trying in like within my niche. I've mentioned this several times, but neighbor Gotzi told me like the one time that I met him, he was just like find that niche and then just like be that comic. I'm a clean comic. I fit in well with Dustin Nickerson, Steven Rogers, um, uh, what's the Nate Land, Neighbor Gotzi, and Brian Bates, Aaron Weber, Greg Warren, those guys. Like I just fit in well there, and so I'm trying to just like really focus on that. So like even whenever I'm talking to the Looney Bin and they're like, you know, where do you want to host or feature? I'm just like, I really want to feature for those guys. It's like
Hmm.
I'm opening for Greg Warren, who's a pretty big clean comic in the Nate Land scene next year in February. And so I'm just trying to be really intentional about that. And then just also like perform in a lot of churches
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that just fits my vibe really well.
I feel like it's cool because it gives hope for, I think our culture just says like, just grind. Like that's the only way to
Yeah.
get where you want to go. And I think sometimes, you know, whether you're a Christian or not, or, you know, if you're not a Christian, then this maybe you wouldn't believe this, but I feel like when you honor your family or honor those things that you have that are more important than your career, you know, that it has a way of it might cost you something, but
Yeah.
in the long run, you're going to end up being in a better place than you were if you're kind of doing it the other way.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of reading my mail on that because it's really hard for me to pass on opportunity. You guys know that about me.
Yeah.
But a real win. I was booked at the Looney Bin in Little Rock the second week of July, and I was just hosting. It wasn't gonna pay really anything ultimately because just the
You have to get
travel.
out there. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and I had said yes to it prematurely without really running it by die. And then our kid, 5 weeks old, just like maybe say it's just this was going to be a disaster. And we talked about it, and we decided if we had to do it, we would do it. I'd keep my word. But I emailed the booker, and I said if there's any way I could move to the fall, that would maybe be better for my family. And he emailed back and just said, we can find somebody else. And, whether they'll rebook me or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it kind of bothered me in the sense of like, man, that sucks. Like
Hmm.
I kind of screwed that up. That could be a bridge that was burned or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, it's the right thing to do for the family. And that's the week that a couple of days before, our club called and said, our feature fell
Mm.
through. Could you do it? It paid a lot more. Obviously,
Yeah.
it paid a lot more because I'm in town. It's
Yeah.
a lot better for the fam. I got more stage time
Right.
because I
Yeah.
was featuring, so I got that bump. So, I mean, whatever God you believe in, I happen to believe that if you honor your family, you're honoring God, and I think that ended up coming through in that situation.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. Another thing I did, and I haven't told you guys about this yet, but I did a show at Kane's Ballroom at the beginning of the month,
Oh
which is
yeah.
a
I remember
super
you
rad.
telling me about it, but I didn't hear how it went, but I remember you.
Yeah, it went great. We had about it's a cool local show that they put on. I did about 20 minutes, and they about 140 people were in attendance. So it was a great crowd. I did every joke that I don't have on video, and we filmed it. Brought my buddy John in, and so I now have every joke that I've written on video to push out there, except for the stuff that I am working on for my next special, which will be in a couple of years. And for me, that was really nice because it was kind of a closing of like a season. Like I'm coming up on my 5th year of being a comic, and I was like, all right, those are all the jokes I've ever written, good or bad, A joke, B joke, C joke, whatever. They're all in the can. I'll finish posting them online. And now just where I am as a comic, and my dry bar coming out, I think next month. I'm not sure, but I'm hoping.
Yeah, still talking about the dry bar.
No, I know. Word on the street is it might be coming out next month. And I just, moving forward, feel like that was a nice season of the first 4 years of being a comedian, and then I can like start focusing on the next bit. And so comedy wise, that's where it's at. And I'm hoping that you and I are going to tour a lot more this next year.
Yeah.
And I think that's a possibility. And so we'll just kind of see how that goes.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. Then I haven't told you guys this, but on the TV show, I told you guys know Page Finders is an animated television show that I write on. And we are making our short film. It's kind of a proof of concept. It's going to be about 5-6 minutes long. I'm writing that, working with a director from Pixar. His name's Matthew Lunn. Got a couple of other guys that are on it now. One of the guys is an old Pixar guy who's designing our characters. And I'm on that for the next 2 or 3 months while we make the animatic, which is kind of a storyboard reel with music, temp voices, that sort of thing. And so I'm working on that, and that's great. But I did just get word that I'm probably going to be off of it come September. And it'll move. I mean, this is all really cool. It'll move to a real animation studio. I'll have written it, but they'll have their own editor, and Matthew will be directing it. So I'll be moving on to the next thing. I have a kind of an idea of where I'm going there, but like that will be potentially the end of a season of the television show that I've been working on for going to be just over 2 years.
So you're not part of the writer's strike?
I'm not. No, that's actually a good question. Yeah, that's a good question. The writer's strike is specifically the guild on the West Coast, maybe on the East Coast too. The Writers Guild of America. In this world, you don't have to be in the Writers Guild to just write anything. I'm not in that Writers Guild, and this is not a union gig, so it affects me none. In fact, it has helped our project because it slowed down some of our director's work. He's not in a guild, but some of the people that he was working on other projects were, and so they're on strike, and so it kind of freed him up to work on ours. So it's actually kind of helped us. Although I side with the writers, and I think that, and now the actors, and I understand what they're after, and I think it's totally acceptable. So that's where we're going. So like Chris, in the last episode, we talked about a little uncertainty just in where you're headed. One thing about working in television or working on these kind of projects is like, when you're a writer, you're a freelancer, unless you're working, well, even if you're working for a studio, you're a freelancer. And so I didn't know this project that started out being for 2 months, that ended up being for over 2 years, is great.
Yeah.
It is coming to an end. And that can be kind of scary.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
It's yeah. So especially when I thought this might be lasting another year, that's a little unnerving. So, but I've been here before. It's kind of, I don't super mind it, but it is something that I'm kind of constantly thinking about. So,
yeah,
the end of that. Yeah.
Well, once you're off of that, will you have any kind of any interaction with it at all? You just basically have a writer credit on it, and then you kind of don't.
Who knows? I don't know. I mean, the only television show that I've ever made, I had complete control of, and I still owned it when I was done.
Yeah.
But there is a potential. So one thing about the Page Finders is it got purchased.
Yeah.
In its current state by an individual investor. And so it started, for those of, if you don't know, it started out being owned by a studio that was owned by a church. That studio does not own it anymore. However, that studio is interested in making some other properties. Mm-hmm. And so there is a chance I will go back to working with that studio. But I think for the Page Finders, I mean, I'm very good friends with the director. And so I think he and I will stay connected on that. But as far as me working, I don't know. Will they need punch-ups on the script? Will they bring me in for that? Or will they change the script? I don't know. I don't own it.
Yeah, it's wild.
Which I don't.
Does that make you feel uncomfortable, or do you feel relieved in the sense of just like, oh, this is awesome. I did my part and now someone else is going to run with it? Or do you feel kind of like, oh, I want to see this thing through?
I think part of me is excited about working on something else.
Yeah.
Not that I don't love that project. And if we did it for another 2 years, it'd be great.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I mean, the idea behind the short film is that it will get picked up for a season. And I'm currently working on the scripts for the first season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hopefully they would come back to me and say, all right, we're ready to work on the first season. And I think if Matthew, the director, was directing the season, he would.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, it's kind of like, this is such a bigger deal, but it's kind of like, I've seen clips of Edward Norton talking about why they didn't pick him to be the Hulk when they moved on. Like, he was the Hulk in the Incredible Hulk, but then he wasn't the Hulk in the Avengers.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, who knows? Or like, why are they?
It sounds like this is a great opportunity to worry about something that you can't control.
Exactly. One thing which is your MO.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do.
There are things I learned with Pete and Penelope. It was not very much, but there were things about the marketing with Pete and Penelope that I hated, and I couldn't control.
Couldn't control it, yeah.
No, just like even designs I saw, just like, that looks like trash. And, or I should say like this, designs that when I looked at, I was like, I would do that differently. Or like even when when the studio would highlight characters, that I was like, I don't feel like there's just a different choice. Maybe not wrong, just different. And so there were things about that I were uncomfortable with or didn't love. And I'm like, I think this is going to be even more. I mean, like if there's dialogue with some of these characters that I've worked on for a couple of years, and I'm like, I don't think they'd say it like that. I'm just like, this is the business I decided to get into.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, and I think that's why I like stand-up so much, because it's just me. Like, you can't do anything about it. This is what I'm saying it, and this is what's happening.
Yeah, I've heard actors talk about why they love Broadway so much is because they're in complete control of their performance, and no one can cut out what they said. No one can edit around it. No one can zoom in on any particular part, or they're in complete control, and that's what they love about it.
Well, I even think, I haven't read anything about this, but a little spoiler alert, if you haven't seen The Flash, then stop listening for a minute. But there's a scene in The Flash where Christopher Reeves is in it. The original Superman. Or I guess it wouldn't be.
You're talking about the new Flash that just came out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I'll say it like this, and I'll cut this out. In the new Flash, there is a cameo from an actor who has passed, and it's just like, whoa, crazy, like
technology.
What is that like? What's that like for the family or whatever? And so, like, obviously, he didn't have a say in that sort of thing. So I don't know. It's going to be a learning, but I know this. I am grateful
Yeah.
that I have, for the last 2 years, lived in Tulsa, gotten to work on a television show that I helped create, and getting to work with some of my favorite. I mean, it's not easy. I have gotten some notes that I'm like, Adam, you put on your big boy pants. You need to get better,
Yeah.
become a better writer, and I'm grateful. I'm very thankful.
Yeah, it's good.
So, yeah. And what you were saying, I heard Will Ferrell say recently that, like, one thing about Elf, everybody loves Elf. And he was just like, you don't know how the movie's
Oh yeah.
going to go.
Yeah.
Not even how it's going to do. You have no control. It's like, are they going to do a good job with this?
Yeah.
And he was just like,
that's amazing.
this is my last one.
I love hearing people talk about just even like during the filming of it. You hear people, it's just like, it feels like this is pretty good. It feels like this is like,
Yeah.
some of these scenes have been pretty funny, and like I feel like this is going good. But like having no idea how it's going is so fascinating to me, that you really are just, as an actor, taking on a role of servanthood, of just like, I'm just serving the director's vision the best I can. And I don't know, there's something I think that's really cool about that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you one thing that I'm very excited about, that I don't know if this means anything, but the animation studio that we're looking at using for our film, they did some Marvel projects that are on Disney Plus.
Oh, cool.
And I mean, you guys know how I feel about Marvel. I just love Marvel so much.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so fun. And so I was even just like, that I even get to be a part of something like this. It's just,
yeah.
I'm just so thankful. So,
I forgot to mention this in last
yes.
episode, but I had a lady reach out who is producing a movie that they're in pre-production on. I can't say anything about it.
Yes,
but they want me to try out for one of the roles. And
it's called auditioning.
Well, it's they're what do they call me? The principal audition, something or other, like where they're requesting me to.
When do you do it?
Do what?
When do you do it?
I don't. We don't know if it's been greenlit or anything. That's very, very early on. So, but I just thought it was fun that someone's reaching out to me asking me about it.
They're asking you, Chris Munch, or a specific character?
Me. They've got a character and all this. So,
okay,
that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's even
is the potential director go by Martin Scorsese?
Yes, it does.
Marty, actually, that's what I call him. Yeah. No, I can't. I'm sworn to secrecy. I can't say anything about it.
No, that's awesome. And even
said too much.
You have said too much. We're gonna have to get that on the pod.
I'm already uncomfortable with how much I've said.
Yeah.
So maybe nothing, may not turn into anything, but it's always kind of fun to kind of entertain those thoughts.
Oh yeah. No, I totally agree. So so that's where we are, and I'm thinking about when you said, like, am I excited about like maybe working on something else? We're building a small, very small studio in my backyard, and one of the ideas I had is to make a new television show with my daughter, maybe called Dad and Lou, where it's us doing crafts or learning about things or things like that. And that's something that like maybe we'd put on YouTube and sell it to a streamer or something like that.
Can I tell a funny story about Lou?
Of course. Yeah, let's wrap it up with that.
So my daughter Hazel came to me, and she was playing with Jenny, Gary's daughter, in the pool.
They're about 10, is that right?
Hazel's 12.
Almost 12.
Yeah, 12.
Jenny's generally 12 in a couple weeks.
Okay. Hazel's already 12. She's 11. She'll be 12 in October. That's right. I was getting confused. Okay. So anyways, they were playing in the pool, and I guess Lou, this was at a party or something that we were all at.
My daughter, who's 4.
Your daughter, who's 4, I guess was throwing things at them in the pool or something like that, or splashing. They're like playing this game or whatever, where like I can think at first it was like fun, and then it kind of was like, okay. Thanks, Lou. We're done. Thank you. And like just kept doing it and kept doing it. And I just think this is such a little mini Adam, but just continue to push. And they're like trying to get serious. Like, okay, Lou, we're not going to play this anymore. And I don't remember if she kept saying, I don't know if she kept saying something, but she just kept doing it basically. And finally, Jenny was just like, Lou, we're going to tell your mom if you don't stop doing this. And she was like, do not. Tell my mom. Please promise me you will not tell my mom. I will stop. And so that was the trigger to get her attention.
She hates getting in trouble, so I can see the
I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds like Adam. But
yeah, okay, dude. Okay, you know what? I will stop. Just do not tell my boss. Okay, please.
Well, I just think you just you don't take no for an answer, and most of the time it's in a good way.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's gotten me in trouble, though. So, yeah. So anyway, so that's what's
Adam
happening.
responds the same way. If you say, "I'll tell Di," if
okay,
you don't stop, Adam will shut it down.
That's right. Yeah. So that's what's happening, and looking to get into more churches, and so I'm going to be reaching out to different churches because I want to do more shows, and hopefully, I think it's going to be a good year, and
let's do it.
Good year with the fam. I want to wrap up with this. One of the next episodes we're going to be doing. Old Gary's, he's going to be out of the country.
Oh,
because you're headed where, Gare?
Beirut, Lebanon.
Oh my gosh,
Beirut. He's always wanted to go.
Sounds dangerous.
It's the Paris of the Middle East.
Is it really?
Which is true. I am really excited to eat food there.
Okay.
I did like from street vendors and stuff, or like what?
Oh, don't
maybe
do it.
I'm not really in control of where
some big market that's like a big. I might be getting it mixed up with something else, but I feel like that was Beirut. There's like this huge like market of just street vendors, basically, where it's like a big food thing.
Probably, huge I feel like
market.
every foreign city has one of those.
That and Wuhan, I think, are the two big ones.
I'm not going to Wuhan.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
So I leave.
Beirut. How long are you there?
I leave Monday. I'll be gone 9 days.
Woo.
So, yeah, it's a long time. But
what are you going for?
So I'm going with a church in town here, Asbury. I feel like I can never say that right.
Asbury?
Did I say Asbury?
Is it Bury or Asbury?
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 Asbury? Asbury?
Mm-hmm.
Asbury church in town here. Invited me to come along to document. It's part of it's like a medical trip, and then part of it's like a young adults missions trip that they'll kind of do, kind of like VBS stuff for kids. That they're partnered with a church that's in Beirut. So it's a safe place, as far as I understand.
And this is real in line with like work we used to do a long time ago, where like Gary and I went to India to document a trip, that sort of thing. But you're traveling by yourself, and then you're going to meet up with people.
Yeah. So that'll be a new experience. I'm kind of a little scared of just navigating. I fly to Istanbul and have an hour layover, which is really tight, Ooh,
that is tight.
But there is a later flight in case I miss it.
I was about to say, if you're flying in internationally, you're gonna have to roll through customs again.
Will I?
Yeah, not completely, but you're gonna have to go get your bag and then recheck it. Like that might be too tight. Let's talk about this for a little bit longer.
I don't know. I don't think I'll have to do that. It's all on the same.
Just in the comments, if you have any tips on how to get through the Beirut airport,
international travel tips,
Istanbul.
If you've got any tips about old Beirut,
cool places to eat. If there's a McDonald's,
coffee shops,
fun things to do in Beirut. Family.
Are you
family
staying with?
things.
Are you in your room? Are you staying with another person?
I know for part of it, I'm staying with the trip leader, the guy that's kind of, we'll travel to another city. for a couple nights.
That would be
I
the
know-
part that I would be the most concerned about. Does that man snore? What is his hygiene?
This guy he was just in before a few weeks ago. He was like, "Hey, I'll be out of touch. I'm going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro.
Oh yeah,
So I'll be
Okay.
gone for a couple
Those.
weeks."
he's one of
So-
those.
You might like-
and apparently he's run marathons in several countries.
Okay. It
but I
sounds
think he's an old-
for
he's
you.
Probably in his 70s or something.
What?
Oh,
Like he's an older dude. He's retired. He's of that age. So
Listen, my mentor retired. Okay, in their 30s. Okay.
so he's not that young.
He climbs like Mount Kilimanjaro now for freaking fun. Okay.
Yeah. So I made sure that there would be 2 beds in the room.
that's good.
So
Well,
that was my only concern.
yeah.
Because it's just a pretty cool opportunity to have somebody send you to another country.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
That looked
And
awesome.
you were saying one of the reasons you took it is because you wanted to go on an adventure.
Yeah. Adventure. It would just be, it'll be an adventure. And that was the most intriguing thing about it. Plus it's cool to kind of do a missions trip like this,
Mm-hmm.
to be a part of that. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it'll be fun.
Well,
But you're in Beirut, just let me know.
yeah. So we're gonna try to do a podcast and just see like how it's going over there.
Yeah. It's an 8-hour difference from Tulsa.
Mm.
Okay.
So 8 hours ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. Anything else you guys want to say?
Let's wrap it up.
We all got to get to work.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for checking out the pod. If you want to follow Gary's work, go to northern.work. If you want to follow Chris, go to chrismunchcomedy.com, or you can follow him on all the socials at chrismunchcomedy. I'm at heyadambush.com or on the socials. And if you want to send us an email, riskitpod@gmail.com, send us something you want us to talk about or a question you have. We'll read it here on the air. And of course, if you could share this podcast with your friends, we appreciate it, whether you listen to it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. And we're thankful for you. And that's it.
That's it.
All right.
Do you need to shout out Looney Bin?
Didn't I do it already?
Did you?
I think you opened with talking about the.
Yeah, I opened with it this time.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think what are Joy's kids' name? Let's just shout them out for fun.
Andy, Maddie, and Autumn.
Big shout out to our favorite listeners,
Andy, Maddie,
Maddie,
and Autumn.
and Autumn.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, and Lewis. We've never really talked about Lewis.
We've not talked about Lou.
Your son, Chris's son, Lou.
Lewis?
Yeah.
Bud?
Yeah, and Ira.
I don't think Lewis listens to the podcast, so
No, okay, never mind. We take it
not
back.
No,
interested.
he thinks it's boring.
Yeah, I don't care.
Probably. All right. Yeah. Oh, maybe we'll do this if we do this at the end. We have a special little bonus piece that we're going to put at the end of this podcast. Gary interviewed a very special listener.
That's right.
Do you want me to say who it was?
Yes.
Autumn of Pod.
Yeah.
Autumn.
Friends from Jackson.
Went to Jackson, tracked down Autumn, sat with her. We did some Tom the Assistant bits together.
In a minute, I'm the assistant.
They're huge fans.
Yeah.
Shared. Autumn has some great jokes
It's awesome. How old
that
is
she
Autumn?
shared. I don't even know how old Autumn is. She's probably like 8 or 9.
Okay.
Something. We're going to get a little flack
We
for
feel like
that.
we're very popular in that demographic.
Yeah.
We are.
8 to 12 is we're killing it.
Kids love us.
Yeah.
So we'll put that at the end so you can
Check that
watch
out.
or listen to it. Yeah. So till next time, risk for the biscuit. Over and out.
See ya.
Goodbye.
See ya.